Hi, this is Adrian. Um, Tonight I watched a video by Andrea Russo um, on the topic of love. It's a very interesting, fascinating video. I suggest if you have not heard of this person or seen any of her videos or blogs that you check her out, Andrea Russo. Um, and in this video she basically talked about um, love as the energetic feeling um, that we experience and possess, um, which we attain as an experience through various interactions, whether it be with the people in our lives or the things that we do, um, the people who we believe we are. It's always relationship based, essentially. And Andrea basically talked about why we are loving some things or people more than others, why we are giving more value to certain things and people and experiences more than other. This being based primarily on what things or people and or experiences in our lives will give us this certain energetic experience of basically feeling good, which you could call love. And she talked about the exclusivity of this feeling and this way that we typically tend to know and recognize love, because it only ever tends to be concerned with giving ourselves this happy feeling, and or just the people in our lives, in our immediate lives, and how, again, even then, that is just based purely on how they are able to serve us and giving us this feeling experience. Or perhaps even when a love is more genuine, say, for instance, as it being actually based in physical, practical support, and not so much on just feeding an energetic desire, that still this love that can actually be based on practical physical support is still just limited to, again, just a few people in your immediate surroundings, such as your partner or your family, your husband, your wife, your children, girlfriend, friends, co-workers, colleagues. And I mean, investigating the whole point for myself, within my own experience, I'm able to see how, for myself anyway, a lot of it, this desire to have love and these experiences, it is desired. It is more just to have these energetic experiences of myself with other people, and how a lot of that is actually driven by, you know, in a way, weakness, like my own inferiorities, my own limitations, my own sort of unfulfillment, essentially negative things about me that I've come to know in my life or identify with in my life, that from those things and experiences about me, I then go looking for this happier experience, this better place. It's almost like a form of escapism, as illusion and self-delusion. So that's what I was able to see is driving me in a lot of this. And if you look around, I mean, certainly that's the case for many people. And it's interesting because it's actually a void that's never able to be filled. I mean, I also know this from first-hand experience, having had many girlfriends and partners and extensive relationships with people. I'm just trying to recall. I mean, throughout Andrea's video, she even touched on the points of, capitalism as well. How a lot of this pursuit of love and happiness within our capitalistic society is, again, just only concerned with self, or those immediately around self, when totally disregarding what's outside of that little bubble and the conditions that that are existing and continue to be created in this world, and obviously how that love doesn't go beyond that bubble to actually support those who are living in destitution. If anything, our whole pursuit of happiness within this capitalistic, egotistical, happiness-obsessed society is just further fueling these conditions, because we are reinforcing this whole value system that is creating a lot of these experiences in the first place of lack, of inferiority, of unfulfillment, where you then go looking for that fulfillment, and so this whole, it becomes like a vicious cycle that way, that this whole quest for love is just only ever fulfilling self. But is it really self? Because, I mean, it's like an endless void that's been created through these conditions. So is it even really fulfilling self, or is it just, further suppressing this whole, this problem that was created in the first place? And as that pursuit and quest for love and happiness continues, you just go further and further down that rabbit hole of self-interest, where you just reinforce that entire mindset and way of living, where where I can be the only thing that matters, and just the people and things around me are the only thing that matters, and fuck everything else, just disregard everything else. So it's rather interesting how our current world systems, specifically the economic conditions that people are living in, are creating this whole experience, and this is part of why it's like I have to advocate an equal money system, because it is this value system that it is, again, creating these conditions in the first place, and just continuously reinforcing this value system of, basically only some have value and some do not. Those who have money have value, and those do not. Those who have access to money and resources are able to have a happy, fulfilled life, and those who do not are not able to have happy, fulfilled lives. And it's literally a value system with a number attached to it, and depending on how big your number is, the more worth you're given to by society and others. The more people will want to be, I mean, in a way, it's a fucked up value, but they will value you more in terms of wanting to be near you, wanting to be a part of your life because you have money, you're worth money, you're therefore deemed special, you're deemed worth something, and um, from that perspective, that's why so many people are just constantly using and abusing each other. So even when you do get this so-called love, it's not fucking real. And I mean, it gets pretty deeply ingrained because this is such an automated way of life. We're all born into it without questioning it. Pretty much, yeah, from the day we're born. I mean, it's from a certain perspective, I suppose it's difficult to question because it is the one thing that does control and influence and determine your life in every way. But that's why it's so deeply ingrained, this whole idea of some have value, some do not. It's an acceptable thing to love some people more than others. It's an acceptable thing for some people to, by no means of their heart, their work or anything they've contributed to society, have more than others, are given more value and opportunity than others. And we just accept this. And it's amazing what we're able to claim within these bubbles, because in this pursuit for this fulfillment and everything, we will claim love and goodness and happiness and benevolence and all these things of good virtue, never stopping to question and consider, okay, but why does this not extend to everybody? How am I professing love and light and all these good things and claiming literally like the highest of the high, in terms of love being the ultimate expression of human care and positivity and everything, when it doesn't even go past our own little worlds or our own little bubbles, And then we just get so carried away with our own little bubbles, our own little missions to create this happiness, and even kid ourselves into thinking in a lot of cases that we're making the world a better place because we're maybe seeing it have an effect on just our own lives and the people immediately around us, or maybe, or you do some charity or something, or then maybe you help a few more people around you that maybe you wouldn't normally, but again, it's really not extending this love to everybody. It's not trying to extend this love from a starting point of recognizing everybody equally, and that love is something that really should be shared and experienced by everyone equally. I mean, obviously. I mean, I guess it's easy to say it shouldn't be if maybe you're getting everything you want and some others aren't, but as soon as the shoe is on the other foot and you're in a position of lack and you're not the one experiencing all the love and benevolence, I mean, you'll scream bloody murder. But I suppose that's why they call it mind control and brainwashing. Because again, just have a look around, have a look at yourself, the people around you, whose definition of love is concerned with creating love and a life and a world that is best for everybody. Everybody, everything even. Let's go beyond people and races. Let's go into the animal kingdom, and the plants and Mother Nature and everything. I mean, whose version of love goes this far? And if you actually bring this to light to a lot of people who are claiming all these different forms of love, that's the really amazing thing, is it will tend to not even be recognized. I mean, I was, and still am a little, quite baffled when I discovered equal money system, at how little response and recognition there was to this. I'm especially baffled because I have my own limitations I've allowed myself this whole quest for love, only being concerned with your own world and your own love and happiness thing that I'm talking about. I've been entrenched in this for a long, long time, But again, having claimed all these things, all this love, and wanting to experience love and happiness and everything, I can't deny these glaring points, these glaring questions that I'm raising. Of, okay, but why just me? Why not everybody? I suppose the answer to that question is in my own story that I mentioned, and that is still a limitation that I'm working to overcome. But it really is undeniable if you have a self-honest look at it, And if you're, this may seem like altruistic ideas or something like that to everybody, but really having a self-honest look at things is at the end of the day for you. It ends up being for everybody else that way, but if you're not able to consider these points for yourself in self-honesty, you're really just kidding yourself at the end of the day. And there's a consequence for that. There has to be. Just by nature of how it works, when you believe something works in a way that doesn't actually, in fact, in real life, there's going to be a consequence. And believing that you are more special or worth more, whether you consciously believe it in your head and your thoughts or not, or you're actually just living it as an expression because you're busy just in your own happiness in your own life, while you are not, screaming bloody murder for those who live in lack and despair and destitution. That in itself is a living statement of, I'm worth more, I'm more special. And it's just not true. It doesn't work that way. If we're in positions of advantage or having more or living in abundance, living these good lifestyles, if you look at it, it's like a casino. It's the luck of the draw. It was where you were born, and the opportunities you had, the conditions you were given. And everybody, I'm sure, would like to kid themselves that they have had this, this difficult, hard luck story where they've triumphed over it, and therefore they deserve everything they have because they've worked hard and they've overcome their struggles. But everybody has fucking limitations. Everybody has struggles to overcome. It's a rat race, the human race, the competition, capitalism. And it is just the luck of the draw. Some make it, most don't. So, if you're able to hear and understand and consider what it is that I'm saying, and challenge these beliefs, these self-beliefs, I suggest you investigate equal money at equalmoney.org, and I suggest you investigate Destiny at destiny.org, where we take a more Destiny is more about sort of looking at ourselves as part of this problem, and correcting ourselves as our own nature, as this value system that we've adopted and that we've taken on as our self-interest and our desires. Thanks.